Profit farmers, did you spray fungicides this rainy, wet and cold season and the Managu leaves sustain their awful yellow color and spots? Apparently, there is a reason for that. It turns out there are two main types of fungicides, and knowing when and how to apply them will increase their success rate in protecting your crops from fungal and bacterial infections. According to agricultural researchers, we can control fungal and bacterial infections on our crops through either contact or systemic fungicides. Let's start with the contact fungicides. These are also called preventive or protective fungicides. As their name suggests, contact fungicides prevent crops from contaminations by diseases. Keyword here is prevention. Now, this explains why we sprayed the fungicides and the diseases persisted. When is the right moment to apply the contact fungicides and maximize Managu production, you ask? When your Managu are at the risk of fungal and bacterial infections. Please note, this is before the Managu are affected by the fungal and the bacterial diseases. We all know that Managu is not heavily affected by blight, downy mildew, dampening of powdery mildew, root rot, and other fungal and bacterial infection, except when these three conditions that contribute to disease development occur. Number 1. The presence of fungus inoculum in the garden. That is, your soil has the fungi that causes the diseases. Number 2, susceptibility of the Managu to the fungus. Meaning, your kienyeji veggies have a high likelihood to contract the diseases. This is when you have too many seedlings on the Managu nursery, or if you're growing Managu through the broadcasting method, you have too many Managu plants in the same area. This increases the chances of dampening of and root rot diseases. Number 3, a conducive environment to increase the spread of the fungus, meaning there is excess moisture in the soil, either from overwatering or the heavy rains like the ones we are receiving from El Nino, or there is a history of bacterial infections in your farm or neighboring farms. These are the conditions most of us are in at the moment, which means if you did not apply contact fungicides before the rains began, you should not apply them now because they simply won't work. Before we jump into the systemic fungicides, let's understand how does contact fungicides prevent Managu from infections. When you spray the crops, the contact fungicides remain on the surface of the plants, that is, on the leaves and stems. If the kienyeji veggies are attacked by diseases, the contact fungicides prevent it from penetrating inside the vegetables, literally. Therefore, your veggies are safe and you are guaranteed maximum harvests at the end of the season. Now, what are systemic fungicides and when should we apply them? Systemic fungicides are absorbed into the plant. Remember we said contact fungicides remain on the surface of the plants, leaves, stems, and also flowers. The systemic fungicides penetrate inside the Managu leaves, stems, and also flowers. There is an important element to note here though. Although the systemic fungicides penetrate inside the plant, they do not move too far from the point of penetration. In this case, when spraying, ensure that you have sprayed every part of the Managu to increase the fungicide's effectiveness. Also remember, systemic fungicides penetrate well when the Managu is vigorously growing. So, if your garden has insufficient nutrients, the fungicide might not work as effectively as you want them to. Another element to note here is that systemic fungicides do not protect new leaves efficiently, and you must reapply to increase the efficiency. This is why you should repeat applications after every 10 days, and as you do this, always follow the post-harvest interval rate of your selected fungicides, not to feed your customers with the substance, including organic fungicides, of course. When should you apply systemic fungicides? They are most effective when used as preventive measures, but if your Managu has already been affected by the fungal and bacterial diseases, that is, You have already spotted the yellow color. There are leaf spots on the managu, and you have seen them rotting before they mature. Systemic fungicides are your best alternative. They will help suppress the fungus infection already in the managu. Now, in the next video, we shall learn how to differentiate between contact and systemic fungicides in the market without necessarily reading manufacturers' indicators, that this is a systemic fungicide, but by reflecting on the components used to make the fungicides so that you are sure that the selection you've made is the most effective one based on the condition of your managu. Now, kindly subscribe if this information has increased your agribusiness knowledge, and your subscriptions and likes and sharings of these videos are what we use to pay our bills and produce more valuable videos like this one. So if you like it, please subscribe and also share with your friends. See you in the next video as we discuss how to identify the systemic and contact fungicides. I have included links in the description, so if you want to read more about the difference between contact and systemic fungicides and how they work, click on the links in the description part of this video. For now, see you later.